Welcome back to the Real Friends podcast. We gave Patrick two in a row, so hey, let's get Mundo back on here. What's up, buddy?
How we doing? How we doing? I gotta tell you, man, things are good. Things
Y-
are
y-
good in the neighborhood. Except I have a housemate that keeps stealing my food.
Oh no. The one that's allowed to or the one that isn't?
The one that isn't allowed to.
And it's
Yeah.
not your dog.
Right. Yeah. They're allowed to eat my food all the time. Right. But god dang, dude, it's one of those things that's like I specifically left it, didn't finish it yesterday because I was so excited about having it today. Then I come down to take Hulk for a walk and it's gone.
My
And
parent my
the box isn't anywhere, so like it's just gone.
he may be actively eating it right now.
He may be actively eating it right now. Yeah. And so this is whenever I wish I had one of those enhance.
Yeah.
you know.
Have you we used to do this all the time in the Forest Film Club. We haven't done it in a little bit, so I thought I'd bring it back for this just to get us started. Are you reading or watching anything good right now?
Twin Peaks watch is a big deal right now. I am reading the Bounty Hunter Wars by what's his name? J.K. Derrick, or maybe it's D.K. Derrick. Hold on here. Um,
Not J.K. Rowling.
no, would never be J.K. Rowling. So the great people at Barnes and Nobles, I always love um their like specialty bindings, big leather back, silver or gold around the paper trims. Always love those. And they're starting to do them with classic Star Wars novels.
Oh, nice.
K.W. Jeter is the author. And this is actually a series that I started a long time ago. I bought the first one, The Mandalorian Armor. Uh, got about three-quarters of the way through, and then I was like, wait a second, this is a trilogy, so I kind of don't want to finish it until
Yeah.
I have the next two in the series. But then I'm at Barnes and Nobles. Lo and behold, they have one of those Barnes and Nobles specialty books that has all three of them in it. And so it was one sweet price. And so, yeah, I picked it up, and that's what I'm reading right now.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Love the Legends continuity. Eh, love some of it,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know. Yeah, it's so funny talking to Star Wars fans because Star Wars fans you'll have a bunch of them, and all they'll do is talk about old canon and Legends canon and how things were so much better back then. But these people have never read a single one of them.
Yeah.
Their whole understanding of it is through YouTube videos and Wikipedia articles. Like,
Yeah.
it's not great. It's not
Yeah.
great.
It's like
But this is great. This is really good stuff. This is a guy that he's a really big sci-fi writer. Has done a bunch of like Star Trek books, and he has his own like multi-part science fiction series, and those are the ones that I actually do enjoy reading. Those with Kevin J. Anderson is all right, but I like it. I'm having a good time with it. Boba Fett is into some hot shit right now, and I'm here for it.
there you go. And any more we can get on the fets, I'm all for. So
Yeah, and this is like one of the ones where it's like, and I hate dogging on Disney because everybody dogs on Disney, but they really did mess up who Boba Fett is because
oh
like
yeah.
Legends canon Boba Fett is nothing like current canon Boba Fett, and
Book of Boba Fett.
yeah, 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 yeah. And I didn't hate that. I didn't like most of it, but I didn't hate
Sure.
it.
Yeah. Like you
you
always
know?
said, there's no bad Star Wars. There's just Star Wars that's better than other Star Wars.
Yeah, so like the thing about me is like I just enjoy being in a world.
Hmm.
You know, this is like the same thing with like Harry Potter. You know, I think Harry Potter is a terrible story. I think it's filled with cliches and contrivances and contradictions. I don't think J.K. Rowling is really all that interesting author. Um, but I love the world of it. And so whenever Hogwarts Legacy comes out, I'm the first one to buy it because I just want to be in that world.
Right. And do what you
You
want
know?
instead of being guided around,
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the way that it is with like Star Wars for me is I just enjoy the galaxy. I just enjoy being in there and being like, oh, this is a weird fucking planet. It's Tatooine again, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
What about you? You into anything right now?
Yeah, actually yesterday, speaking of worlds, I'm diving back into Narnia. So
Oh, fun.
I'm planning to by the end of the summer finish the entirety of Chronicles of Narnia because I was supposed to read last year. I was like, I'm gonna read every single Sherlock Holmes book again. And we went on our honeymoon in February and I read the entirety of A Study in Scarlet in like 2 days. And I haven't picked up a Sherlock Holmes book since. So
Those
I'm
are
like,
heavy though. Those can be
yeah,
heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was looking through my books here, because I've reorganized and took all my books off the movie shelf and put them
Of
in a
course.
box. So going through and I found that I have all the Chronicles of Narnia books. So yeah, I'm gonna read those. I've already read the first four. Magician's Nephew, man. I wish they had made that into a movie because that's my favorite book. Like the fact that they made The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first is pretty interesting to me. So I'm reading The Magician's Nephew. I'm hoping Greta Gerwig, when she does her Chronicles of Narnia, she's gonna start at Magician's Nephew and work through.
Yeah, because
Um,
that's like the chronological beginning of it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the
Yeah, you
very
know
first
what?
one.
That's the thing about the whole Narnia of it all is like if you're doing a movie series, you almost have to do Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first because it's obviously the most famous one.
Right.
You know, but what I think Gerwig's doing a TV show.
I think it's like I'm not sure if it's a TV show or if it's like a movie anthology. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's for Netflix, so we'll see.
Right. And I feel like
And Meryl
yeah, I
Streep is
just feel
playing
like if you're
Aslan.
doing a TV show, then you should go chronological, one season tackling one book.
Right.
Now, here's the question that I have. Do the Narnia books all follow the same stupid kids?
No. That's
Okay.
just like the very first, like Magician's Nephew is a completely separate story.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's about this girl Polly and this boy Diggory, I think his name is.
Diggory.
Yeah, I think it's Diggory. But yeah, I mean, I know that, you know, like Prince Caspian's probably my favorite movie. Like it was just war after war. It was pretty sick. And then they fucked up Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So I think that's what that's
Which
called.
one of them has a really weird kiss in it? I only remember watching because I remember thinking, oh, these two act like I remember being a teenager
Yeah.
watching it and being like, these two actors don't feel comfortable doing this.
Yeah, and I was extremely angry because it was my girl Susan. My first ever crush was kissing
Oh,
Prince Caspian. Yeah.
well, you can't. You come on, Alex. You can't compare yourself to a prince.
Especially him, who now does phone commercials.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
But
Uh,
yeah, talking about Star Wars is a good lead into today, right? Because we're talking Blade Runner 1982. And with you being the sci-fi nerd that you are, I want 1982 was a huge year for sci-fi. We got
1982 is, you know, we talk about especially a lot because there seems to be a resurgence in horror. There's a lot of talk all the time in film circles about what is the greatest year of horrors. In 1982 is almost the indisputable year of sci-fi.
Yeah. Do you know the five big movies that came out? And they actually all released around the same time, too. Do you know the five? Other than Blade
Okay,
Runner?
so Blade Runner, so I have to name four of them.
No, so you have to name five other ones. So it's
Okay, I
six,
have to name
including
five
Blade
other.
Runner.
Okay,
Yeah.
six include. Okay, so I'm gonna take off the easy ones right off the bat. The Thing, Tron, E.T.
Oh, I didn't even include Tron. Okay, so there's another one then. Yeah, so those are the big three.
Okay,
There's one that's a sequel that's huge, much better than the original.
Star Trek, Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
Yeah, Khan. You know, for a long time, that was the only Star Trek movie that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've
Um,
heard it's one of the only ones you should see. I've heard the
yeah,
original Star Trek is absolute
it's not
garbage.
very good. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Star Trek is something I always wanted to get more into. It's just like there's so much of it.
Yeah. The
It's
other
like,
one is
yeah.
sort of so I guess there is only one other one. I was wrong. The other one's pretty sci-fi, but it's more like mythological.
Okay, so there's a few that are ramping into my dome here. Um, are we counting the Poltergeist?
We
Poltergeist,
can. We can.
because
I mean
that's a
it's
big one that came out that year.
yeah.
That television sets and getting like your home appliances mixed in with being haunted. That's kind of sci-fi, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we can include
But
that one.
I think mythological. Just think about what. Oh, fucking Jim Henson, Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal's there. Yep, that's another
Okay,
one.
all right. And then there's one. Can I have a hint for the last one that I'm
Uh, a
missing?
a trailer dropped today for a character that's in this world. They're making a new movie for her.
Character that's in this making a new movie for.
There's also a new movie coming out this fall that is a remake of a movie this big actor was in.
I'm blanking. Hit me.
It's Conan. Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, Conan. You know what? Fair enough. Okay. So here's a funny story about Conan. Um, Whenever I was like 8 or so, maybe, um, my brother had rented a movie from Blockbuster, and I wanted to watch it with him, but he didn't. But he like kept on explaining like what the movie was about, and it was like he said that it was about like princesses going after like a magic flower. Like it was clear that the way he was trying to describe it was insanely adept to what would I would find uninteresting.
Like
But I it's
a bad pitch meeting.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It was like he went into a pitch meeting, was like, okay, what would be the most uninteresting story to a 10-year-old? But I insisted that I wanted to watch it with him, and it ended up being Conan.
You were the kid from Princess Bride.
I
Super
really
disinterested
was,
at
dude.
first.
Yeah. Yeah, and now it's funny because I was like, oh man, I bet Keith just really wanted to have a movie night by himself, and here's his little brother. He was like,
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with my brother. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure I was 8 years old when I saw Conan also, and I was watching it. I had gotten it on a Netflix, like when they used to send out DVDs, and I'm watching
Yeah.
it in my room on my PlayStation 2, and my mom walked in right during the Conan having sex with the witch scene and was like, "What are you
Yes.
watching?" Like,
Classic.
yeah.
Classic.
But yeah, those are the big ones. So yeah, that's the one of the biggest years ever in sci-fi, like you said, and this is arguably up there with like one of the better ones. And like you and I talked about before we started recording, this was a complete blind spot for me. And just like Twin Peaks, I cannot believe I hadn't seen it before, and I'm so happy I knew nothing about it.
Yeah, I'm happy that you knew nothing about it. I knew base things about it. I knew what a replicant was. I knew I know about the Tyrell Corporation. Um, Being a sci-fi guy, you just kind of hear about things, and things are always taking one thing or another as inspiration. Something that's really interesting about this is that it's adapted from a Philip K. Dick novel, and Philip K. Dick is just like one of my favorite author names ever because I just
Yeah.
imagine somebody being like, "Hey, what's your name?" And he's like, "It's Philip. Hey, Dick." Never read the novel. As far as Philip K. Dick goes, I have read a few of his. Most notably, of course, Man in the High Castle.
Sure.
I read that before diving into that TV show, which, you know, whatever.
Yeah. I do believe
That
this
was
was
like
the
what?
first. I
Yeah,
believe this was the first book they made like a film adaptation of his. I
yeah.
believe.
That would make sense. That would make sense. He's like the thing that I really like about Philip K. Dick that I really enjoy about a lot of sci-fi in general is that it's futuristic. It isn't like wholly sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, do you know the big difference between Star Trek and Star Wars in terms of like sci-fi?
Not really. I've actually never seen a Star Trek at all. So,
Okay, so the thing with Star Trek and Star Wars is that Star Trek is sci-fi and Star Wars is science fantasy. So
okay.
science fiction takes actual science and adjusts it in a way that becomes unusable, right? If we think about Dune, right? Let's use Dune as an example. If we think about Dune, the worms in Dune, the way that they're described in the books would work. Like there's been scientists and what am I thinking of? Um oh God. Um
Not but
simulation
yeah, sure.
simulations that have taken the dimensions and the methodology that the book says that the Dune worms work and have put it into a simulation and they work. The thing that makes it fiction is that worms cannot grow that size,
Okay.
right? Uh, Star Trek does this a lot. It takes ideas in where we're at with robotics, where we're at with communication, and it takes it to a degree that is probably unlikely, but might be likely, and that's what makes it fiction. Right? The thing about Star Wars is that Star Wars doesn't pretend to have any basis in reality.
Mm,
Right? That's what makes it science fantasy, right? It has ships that go light speed, but it doesn't even pretend to tell you how it does that. At least in Dune, we have the spice, and the spice might be a made up fuel, but we're getting an answer that there is a fuel that can take us to light speed,
yeah.
right? That's what makes Dune science fiction and Star Wars science fantasy. Right. And the thing that I really love about a lot of science fiction, right? We talk about Alien or Terminator, right now Blade Runner, is what they're doing is that they're taking Earth and they're putting Earth in a distant future where our technology has run rampant. Right. And that is like the sci-fi that I really gravitate to.
Sure.
I love having like fictional worlds and going out into space, but I really love thinking about what kind of dystopia or utopia we can provide for ourselves with the technology that we have.
Yeah.
You know, while watching this, I was really into it because it reminded me a lot of Westworld. Did you ever watch Westworld?
Some of the first season I did, yeah.
Yeah, it just reminded me so much of that of having like these androids. Let's not forget that the novel, Philip K. Dick's novel, is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, right? Well, what is an android? An android is a robot that is made to look human, right? That's different from a cyborg. A cyborg is a person who's had robotic augmentation,
Right.
you know? And so to have these androids not know if they're people or not, and then they're put to work as like a slave labor camp. Well, is that what they're built for, and do they know that? That's
Hmm.
really the central question here of Blade Runner, and Westworld really prepped me for for this movie because that's a lot of the questions that are brought up in Westworld. Also, a great movie written by Michael Crichton back in the 80s as well. Maybe 60s. It's kind of Michael Crichton wrote Westworld and then like 30 years later wrote Jurassic Park, and a lot of people think that Westworld is kind of like Jurassic Park light. And it is.
Sure.
Um but that's like
Well,
the stuff that I really enjoy about science fiction. I love my Star Wars, but Earth doesn't exist on Star Wars. In the
right.
Dune novels, they call Earth Old Terra because it's just been like completely bombarded with radiation and it's useless to go back to.
Yeah.
Um, Star Trek, I don't even think Earth exists in Star Trek, or if it does, it's the same exact thing. Once again, I haven't seen Star Trek since I was a kid. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't remember.
I think in the
But
newer movies, Earth is a thing, but I'm not like the Chris Pine movies, but I'm not entirely
sure,
sure.
sure. Yeah. I'm not either. I'm not either. But to have something that's like this high sci-fi fantasy set on Earth was really exciting to me from the jump. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to talk about Star Wars with this, right? Because this movie came out after the original Star Wars and then before the prequels, and I could see that this movie took a lot of inspiration from Star Wars, and then George Lucas had to have taken a lot of inspiration from this for the prequels. I mean, we get a lot of ships flying around the city that felt like I was on Coruscant or felt like, I was flying around, with
I
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
totally agree with you right now. In fact, this movie came out after the first two Star Wars,
Yeah.
A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Uh, and, honestly, it feels like George Lucas missed the ball here.
Sure.
Watching this, it was like, God dang, man, Ridley Scott should have directed the third Star Wars.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Ridley Scott should have directed Return of the Jedi because everything feels so real here.
Yeah.
The thing that I love about this, and I after watching it last night, I went online and of course it did some like YouTube videos because I didn't really have time to watch it a second time. So like I wanted lore.
Right.
A big thing about me is that I love going onto YouTube and I love finding like 4 hour lore videos.
Yep.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
Um, and the thing that I kept on finding was that there are like what 5 versions of this movie out now. That there's a box set that you can buy that has 5 different versions of this movie, and
Yeah.
each one like goes into the lore and attacks the lore from a different like standpoint. And the I watched I had a have a coworker. He was gracious enough to lend me a theatrical copy
Okay.
DVD.
I
So I
watched
kind of
the
wa
I watched the director's cut. So
okay.
I know of
Okay.
the big three, right? There's the theatrical, then there's the directors, and then they did the final cut, which was Ridley
Yeah, the
had
final cut.
complete artistic control over that one.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm happy that I watched the one that I watched. It's kind of because then it's like kind of like the base Blade
Yeah.
Runner, right? Um
And we'll really talk about the different ones because what I found in one of the videos I was watching, and you might have watched the same one, is that the biggest difference in all three is the very end of the movie is very different. Like the version you watched has more in it than the other ones. So,
yeah. Yeah. Um well, except I think maybe the director's cut, because one of them ends with um what Deckard and Rachel like driving off into the sunset.
I heard that was the theatrical. Was that not
That
the one
wasn't the
you had?
theatrical.
Huh.
Yeah. So I think what had happened was that they released it and people weren't happy with that ending. And so
Right.
they and also voiceover.
Yeah. From Harrison Ford.
yeah, people were confused with what was going on. And so the original idea was to have voiceover, but Harrison Ford didn't like that.
Yeah, I've heard that he acted it terribly on purpose in the
Oh
when they
yeah, dude,
did.
the videos that I watched had some snippets from it. It was so
Yeah,
funny.
it was not good. Yeah, so the director's cut, what I watched, ends with the elevator, is how it
Yes.
ends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so the director's cut and the theatrical must end the exact same way.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember just thinking like, well, that was actually quite an abrupt ending,
Yeah,
which I liked. I
I
liked
did too.
being like kind of left off into like, well, what happens next?
Did it
It
make you?
really feels like Ridley Scott was gearing himself up for a sequel that he just
Yeah,
never made.
that's what I was gonna say. It felt like they were immediately gonna go into a sequel, and then we didn't get one until I don't even know when 2049 came out, but it was recently, right? Like 2019 or something
17,
like that.
17.
17. Okay.
Okay, and this is so interesting that you brought up, its influence in Star Wars. Which one? I totally agree with. You cannot tell me that Coruscant in the prequel trilogy is not exactly the Earth in Blade Runner because it is.
100%. Yeah.
Right. And even like watching the new Ironheart series from Marvel, like same thing, dude. They're starting to like make Marvel Earth, MCU Earth a lot like Blade Runner Earth.
Sure.
Everybody in like these flying cars that are going through tunnels that have like the destination on top. I'm like, I watching this, I was like, oh, that's what that's in reference to.
Yeah.
You know? Um, but we know who directed the 2049 Blade Runner, don't we? Say it with me now, everybody. Denis Villeneuve. And Denis Villeneuve has been very forthcoming in saying that every movie that he directed was in preparation for Dune.
Right.
You know, and so there's a direct link in the greatest of sci-fi from the 80s, Blade Runner, and the greatest sci-fi running right now, dude. There's a direct link.
Yep.
Gilly Villeneuve saw Blade Runner and he said, "This is the aesthetic that Dune should have." You
Yeah.
know, great
And this
stuff. Great stuff.
this
I'm really excited to watch 2049.
yeah, I am too. We're gonna be spoiler alert for us. We're gonna be reviewing that here in like a week or two. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm really excited for it. There was a time whenever I was like, should I just watch 2049 because everybody's talking about it?
yeah.
And I almost did. I almost did, but then I was like, nah, I better just hold off until I watch Blade Runner.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. So there's thoughts I have when we get later in the movie about Harrison Ford's character that I feel like if I had watched 2049 would have been spoiled for me. So I'm glad I
Agreed.
didn't.
Agreed. I totally agree. I forgot that Harrison Ford came back in 2049 until watching some of the videos. Some of the videos I think like accidentally spoiled things here and there.
A
Like,
little bit,
Har-
yeah.
yeah, but no like major plot things were spoiled, which I'm alright with.
Yeah. I knew
You
he
know,
was in it because I bought the DVD yesterday and he's on the cover. I was like, "Oh, nice. He's in this. Cool."
yeah, yeah, sure, absolutely. It's also important to note that in 1993, this movie was selected for preservation at the Library of Congress, which is incredible.
Yeah, because it
Um,
didn't have a great reception at first. And, I think part of that is just the idea of how many sci-fi movies that were very good came out around the same time, you know?
well, you know, nail meet hammer, right?
Hmm.
Because I think 2 weeks before this, ET came out.
Right.
And if you're shame on you if you have a movie that came out around ET.
Yeah.
Just shame on you for doing that to yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
it's wild though because this is after Alien, right? Alien was like what, 4 years prior to this. So like Ridley was already known as like this really good sci-fi director just from that. And what I love too is they're not really called, this specifically is not really called a sci-fi horror, but there's a lot of horror aspects in this movie, especially in the final act, that I really enjoyed.
Oh, totally agree. Yeah, this is exactly what a movie does should do. Right? This is a movie that its genre is science fiction, but that doesn't mean its plotting needs to be science fiction.
Right.
Right? Instead, we have it's almost like it's almost like Sinners.
Sure.
Right? It's almost like Sinners. If you want to go into this like a police procedural, you can. If you want to
Hmm.
go into this as a horror movie, you can. If you want to go into this as a thriller, you can. If you want to go into this as an action movie, go ahead.
Yeah.
Right? It has so many aspects of different genres that it's impossible to nail down what it really is. And that's what a movie does. Or
Yeah.
that at least that's what a movie should do.
Yeah.
A movie I hate sometimes how settings are labeled as genres.
Mm,
You know, because to me, science fiction is a setting. It
sure.
isn't a genre unto itself. You tell your stories inside science fiction, right?
Yeah.
At least that's how I think things should be.
Sure. And
You
that's,
know.
we talked about that in Sinners, which I will tell you, I forgot to text you guys last night. I rewatched Sinners last night, and it's now a 9 for me. Every time I watch it, it goes up. Like
Yeah, it's
I I
excellent.
will I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you talked about setting. Let's get into the setting, right? So we're introduced to this futuristic world of the very distant future 2019. So,
Very dude. Okay, so have you ever watched Flight of the Concords? You know what Flight of the Concords is?
no, I don't. I've heard of
Okay,
it, but
so
I have no idea.
Flight of the Concords is a was a comedy music duo from New Zealand,
Okay.
right? And they had a TV show on HBO for a while, and then after their TV show wrapped up, they did like a world tour, and they recorded their world tour performance in New York for HBO, where they like just ran back a bunch of the best songs from the TV show. It's like a musical comedy TV show. It's amazing. They're amazing. Um, but they have this song where they pretend that they're robots. And the one's like the distant future, the year 2000.
And
The distant future, the year
that's
2000.
that's one of my favorite things about movies like that came out, decently before I was born, right? Is the idea of like their future is right now. Like Back to the Future, right? Back to the Future Day was in
Yeah, for
2015.
sure.
Like that's so
Yeah, dude, I was so hoping that we would all get those sick pointy sunglasses.
yeah, and the shoes, man. Come on, the self-lacing Nikes, like
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's this guy, his name is Seth Sentry. He has this whole song about how science has let us down because we don't have hoverboards.
yeah.
He has a whole 4-minute song bashing scientists for not inventing hoverboards yet.
Well, and we this very beginning with the setting, right? I mean, you can't tell me this wasn't influenced by Star Wars because we have the scrolling setting at the beginning. We have the
Oh,
scrolling
a
worlds.
100%. And this is like the perfect amount of exposition.
Sure.
You know, you know me, you know my philosophy. Exposition sucks. Everything should be done either diegetically or through world building,
Hmm.
right? Um, but just having a little blurb at the beginning, it just allows us to ingratiate ourselves into what we're about to see.
Right.
Uh,
And it
and
shows, like, especially people that were fans of the novel, it shows how it's going to be different, right? Like in the movie, they tried to move away from androids because when people think androids, they think alien. They think these people that look like humans but are robots. In this world, they're like more so clones. Like they're not robotic underneath. They are
yeah,
entirely
I got
organic
the feeling
material.
that like Ridley Scott was afraid to do like androids from Alien again. I got the
Yeah.
feeling that he was like nervous that if people thought that we were doing androids again, then it would be just the same thing as Alien, but one more
Yeah.
time. I really enjoy, yeah, I really enjoy the ongoing question of what is a replicant.
Right.
You know,
And
like you said, is it a
apparently in
clone? I don't know.
apparently in 2049 they make it pretty explicit is what I've heard, so I'm interested to see in there. But yeah, in this movie you really don't
Cool.
know. You really don't know, but um yeah, it's
And also, I think really interesting here in the beginning is that however long replicants have been in use, we don't know how long they've been in use, right? But
right.
we know that they're for labor.
Yep.
And we know that if one malfunctions, then they call it retirement.
Instead of death, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And this right here was huge for me. It's like, that's how you dehumanize somebody,
Yep.
right? That's how you make somebody an other, is by taking normal words and adjusting it around what they are.
Sure.
You know, having retirement being used instead of executed was huge for
Yeah.
me.
It felt almost like, to a lesser extent, like Mickey 17. The idea of that, like they're being created for labor entirely. Like what were they called in Mickey
Oh,
17?
they not replicants, not regenerators, something. We'll
Something
get
like
it.
that.
It'll pop
Yeah.
into my head.
Yeah, sure. But
Being the huge Mickey 17 fan I am. God damn
yeah.
it.
More so Mickey 7 than Mickey 17, but
Yeah, Expendables.
Expendables, that's it. Yep.
As soon as you said Mickey 7, it popped in. I love that book.
um but yeah, right, it tells us about replicants, says they were created by the Tyrell Corporation, right? And after a rebellion on an outworld planet, they are now illegal on Earth, just like Expendables are in the Mickey 17 world.
God, I love this information. I fucking love this kind of information in something. It doesn't tell you what happened,
Right.
you know?
Nothing.
And now I'm questioning, like, okay, are that can't possibly mean that they're all dangerous.
Right.
That means a small number of them were dangerous, and now because of that, we they can't be on Earth. Once
At
again,
all.
it's just a
Yeah.
way of othering them. It's a way of making them less than human. And they
Yep.
are less than human. They're replicants, right? But that's really the core of this movie is, can these artificial beings have deeper emotions than what we think they do? And if they do, does that mean that we shouldn't retire them?
Right.
Brilliant.
But and it
It's an amazing setup.
and the last part of the setup they give us is what Blade Runners are. So immediately they're a police force that was designed to shoot replicants on sight, right?
Yes. And Blade Runners is not in Philip K. Dick's novel.
Okay.
Yeah, Blade Runners is actually from Alan Norse's novel, The Blade Runner, which um, they had the Warner Brothers had the legal movie rights to, and just liked the name so much. Apparently, is from what I've heard, they just love the name Blade Runner. And put, because what is a, it doesn't, it tells you what a Blade Runner is, but it doesn't tell you why they have that name,
Right.
right? And the first thing that we see is a Blade Runner at work.
Yeah.
You know, now I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but when we open here and we have, the Blade Runner doing the interrogation stuff, I was like, okay, which one here is the Blade Runner?
Right. I didn't know. Yeah.
And that was so exciting.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I know he's being questioned, but because he's being questioned, does that, because that's a thing that happens in Westworld. with their fidelity tests
Hmm.
is sometimes they allow the host, that's what they call them in Westworld. Sometimes they allow the host to conduct the test to see how lifelike they are.
Sure.
You know, so I'm already excited. I'm already being like, oh my God. And then the question comes up, right? It's such a good diegetic storytelling. It's such good diegetic storytelling. What do the questions mean? Right? What do the questions mean? What's the little weirdo circle thing that they keep looking through? Why are they zoomed into an eyeball? What are these questions for? What are the answers in reference to? These are
Yeah.
all questions that the movie is forcing you to think about.
Yeah.
And then the android starts blasting.
Yeah. And he is asking those questions too, right? Like, is this part of the test? Things like that. And it's almost like you're taking a lie detector test. It's like just answer the questions, answer them simply. And the test we're talking about is the Voight-Kampff test. Um,
This is their
super, super
version of
interesting.
the Turing test, right? Let's not forget that the Turing test is the test that you give artificial intelligence to see if you can suss out that it's a not a person,
Right.
right? This is their version of that. Incredible. Incredible opening scene.
Yeah. Very, very good. Very powerful, right? And it's so
Oh
funny
my
too.
God, dude. It ripped me right in.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
it's cool
know,
too because
ripped me right in.
this movie kind of has a lot of jump cuts, right? Like we see, like, the Blade Runner asks him, like, "Hey, let me ask you a question about your mother." He's like, "Oh, you want to know about my mother?" And immediately blasts him. And then we're in a different part, like we're in a different aspect of the movie. Because then I believe we go ahead and we meet Harrison Ford then right away, our guy
I
Deckard.
think so. Yep.
Um, and yeah, so it's very interesting to me that Ridley made both this and Alien because when we meet Deckard, it felt a lot like the beginning of Alien Romulus. Like the different little almost Tokyo feel to where we are. Um
Well, so this was my question while watching it. Has there been World War III?
right.
And if there was World War III, then did Japan come out on top?
Mhm.
Because because even like the yeah, you mentioned Alien. This was back to back. Alien came out in 79, Blade Runner 1982. This back to back.
Yep.
Crazy. Crazy back to back going on here with Ridley Scott.
Yeah. He was on a
And
heater for a long time, man.
oh my
Recently
God, dude.
not so much, but
Yeah. Um but the language that they talk to each other is like a mixture between like English and Japanese and like Spanish.
yeah.
And this can't be a language that exists IRL,
Right. Right.
you know? And at first it's like okay, that sounds Japanese, but even though I don't know Japanese, I can kind of tell that that's not actual Japanese.
Right.
And so what this is telling me is that Tyrell probably started it as a robotics corporation in Japan.
Yep.
And because World War III happened, there was probably a shortage of labor
Mm.
workers.
Sure.
The rebuilding of society needed to happen, and since the Earth was probably nuked to erosion, we had to start looking to the stars for a different place to be, and who better to build those civilizations than beings that don't need to breathe air,
Yep.
right? And so you have the Tyrell Corporation settled in Japan after World War III, develops the probably the first wave of these androids, these replicants. They were probably more like androids back then, right? They were probably
Yeah.
more robotic and became less robotic as the technology got more advanced. Probably helped rebuild the world with the replicants.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you that in the beginning setting, right? Because it's like we've moved
Yeah,
away from androids into, yeah, creating the Nexus 6, I believe these are referred to as.
Yeah, and so now it seems like I think your analogy to Mickey 17's Expendables is really good in that these are probably beings that do the more dangerous work that human life shouldn't be at risk for.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I'm leaning towards there was a World War III and Japan came out on top.
I mean, it fits, right? But that's one thing that's so beautiful about this is that we don't know, and those questions can exist. It's beautiful to have a movie that is like complete, but also leaves us with questions. It's not that it takes us out of the story; it adds to it. That's what a good
There's
movie does.
way too many movies that feel the need to explain everything, you know.
Yep.
I love the mystery,
Yep.
you know. This is like the exact situation where the mystery is perfect. You know, we shouldn't be wondering the mystery should never be why did a character do something.
Sure.
The mystery should always be why does the character live in this world?
Yep.
And that answer should have nothing to do with that character. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't tell, dude, I was so ripped into this immediately.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Um.
But he gets his mission, right? We always say on the Forest Film Club that your movie's main conflict, themes, plots should be done within the first 10 to 15 minutes of a movie.
Yeah, I mean that's Joseph Campbell's thing, right? Introduce you to the world. You introduce the world, and then you immediately throw in like a gatekeeper giving you your mission.
Oh,
So
look at you reading up on your hero of 1,000 faces.
I
Very
love
good.
Joseph Campbell. Yeah,
That's awesome. I didn't know that about you. Me too. Um, and so we learn that there are what four replicants left because six of them
yeah. There were six that
escaped.
escaped. Yep,
Right, two of them got zapped by some electric fencing,
I
if I
believe that's
remember.
correct. Yeah,
Right, leaving uh Leon, Roy, Zora, and Pris.
Pris. Yep,
Right. Oh, I
and
thought
Pris
this
was
was.
great. I have so much on Pris. When we get there, I thought she was great. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
she was the one that made me most sad because I was like, oh, she's like Sophie Thatcher in
yes,
1982.
yep,
If
a
they
hundred percent.
remade Blade Runner, Sophie Thatcher would be Pris.
Oh, 1,000%. And give it to me. I would watch it.
Yeah, I'm here for it. In
Yeah.
fact, we've already kind of seen it
Yeah.
in Companion.
Yeah. But this is like the, the character of Deckard feels very Harrison Ford, right? It's a dude who's a little older, has kind of retired and is being dragged back into his old life to do something. And like in most movies, Harrison Ford is the hero, but he gets his ass kicked over and over again. It's almost like he's almost good enough to complete the mission, but he's not. He needs like a
It's
big
so.
brute, like a Batista with him, which I figured out. Batista's in 2049. I don't know if you knew
Yes,
this.
he is. Yes, he
Yeah.
is. Um, it's so funny that you say that because I was just having this conversation at work with a coworker about Han Solo, and then
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't know why everyone thinks Han Solo's so cool. It's by the basis of charisma.
Yeah.
Because Han Solo effectively fails at everything that he's after.
Sure. Just like Indiana Jones and pretty much just like Deckard. Like
And
it's
just
it's
like
Harrison
Deckard,
Ford's thing. Yeah.
his whole thing is being so charming and likable that we actively look past his shortcomings.
Right.
You know? And so my main question at the beginning of this movie, if they're, his handler, Gaff, who keeps on making these origami figures for Deckard. I have my own little theory about why that is.
Yeah. I thought
Um,
he was an android from the way he looked. I was convinced he was, but
I think the movie is trying to make us think Deckard's an android.
well, I think Deckard is, and I'll give you my
Yeah,
reason why later on. I'm
yeah,
convinced that he is.
yeah. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I think that the movie I think the movie wants you to think it, but and the reason why I don't is more emotional. We'll get into it than
Sure.
based in the movie.
I- I'm
Um,
I'm I'm excited to lawyer that with you because I have something from Ridley Scott that talks about that.
well, so that's what's so fun about this movie is from what my research has surmised for me is that one, Ridley Scott and Harrison Ford did not get along during the
Sure.
production of this movie.
Yeah. He only got
And
cast because he talked to George Lucas because they originally were looking at like Clint Eastwood and Arnold and Sean Connery to play this
but
role.
that's the thing, right? Like Sean Connery and Clint Eastwood, not so much Arnold at this point, but if you're gonna have the retired Blade Runner come back out of retirement, you Harrison Ford is what, maybe in his late 30s, early 40s here.
Not old enough for that. Yeah.
Not
No.
old enough for that. You would go with somebody with a little bit more gray in their hair, right?
Yeah. Right.
And that's really my big question coming into this situation with Gaff is why is Deckard the only man for this job? That means that the movie has to demonstrate to us that he's a better Blade Runner than any other Blade Runner out there.
Right. And I
You
believe the
know,
only other one we're introduced to is the guy at the very beginning.
it's the guy at the very beginning. And I don't know, I guess one of my critiques about this is that I wish that there was maybe one or two other Blade Runners that were fooled by these by Rachel, maybe.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. But I think that I'm watching this movie and I'm like, is he the best one because he's just willing to get beat up the most?
Or is he the only one left? Right? Like that was my thought.
Or
Is
is
he
he
the
the only
only
one
Blade
left?
Runner left?
Yeah. Which I don't think that could be a thing. I don't think that, the movie, this is all great stuff for like the world building,
Yeah.
right? The movie doesn't tell us how many Blade Runners are left. That's an exciting question,
Yeah.
you know. But if you have this Tyrell company, you would expect that the Tyrell company almost has a bunch of these guys on standby.
Like they're mercenaries or something. Yeah.
You would have to because listen, the very beginning of it explains how the replicants have the capacity for rebellion.
Hmm.
That means that the antidote for that rebellion must be had at all times. And that antidote is a Blade Runner.
Yep.
You know? Um all great stuff. This is, it's not a bug. It's just something that I wish I saw more in the movie about why Deckard's the one to go with. If anything, it might actually fit more to the camp of him being a replicant.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I am, like I said, I'm
maybe
wholehearted.
Blade Runners, maybe fucking Blade Runners are the only replicants that are allowed on Earth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm leaning, but we'll get there. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, uh, they go back to the police station and his old boss gives him the task of going to Tyrell, and trying to, perform the test on people there, to start this process. Right. So then we get our flying around Coruscant scene, with
Well,
Gab.
and Tyrell, whenever he gets there, he's like, "I need to know if you can suss out things. Like,
Right.
I need to know how if you." The thing that was interesting about him is he's like, I need to see how you react to a past test before I see you react to a failed test.
Yes. Yep.
You know,
So
and like you said, man, you get in there and dude, oh god, dude, Ridley Scott's in his bag here.
yeah.
You know, how did we get from movies looking this good in 1982? You know, everything looked so swift, so quick, so lived in, so real. You know, they're not just watching this is like watching Andor.
Sure.
You know, they're not just in a volumetric CGI room that they can just plaster on whatever thing that they need to. These are sets. These are,
Yep.
these are miniatures. Give me more miniatures in movies.
Yeah, right on. We'll get that with Nolan's Odyssey, I've heard.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he performs the Voight-Kampff test on the secretary Rachel, right? And it takes like he's asking her a ton of questions, and we were told through testing that it's usually about 30 questions to determine if a replicant is a person or not. Um,
Yeah.
with Rachel, we don't see the whole thing, but in the conversation after the test with Tyrell, it was over 100 questions until he realized that she was a replicant. But the interesting part is what you were talking about earlier. She has no idea that she's a replicant. Like she thinks she's real because they've been instilling memories in their new experiments, what they refer to them as. So they think they're completely real, which is, I mean, that's captivating, right? Because that makes you feel like who in this world is a replicant that we have no clue. Like it leaves the
Yeah,
door
it
open.
makes you question your entire idea of like what is a memory.
Right.
What is it what do they say about memories that whenever you remember something, you are not remembering the event.
Hmm.
You are remembering the last time you remembered that event.
Right. Or how
You
someone
know?
told you. Like people that say they have memories at like 3 years old. You probably don't. But you probably have a picture from that event, right? And pictures are huge in this, and you're
Yeah.
remembering it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So, and I love the tagline Tyrell gives. He's like, "We're trying to make our replicants more human than human."
yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so so interesting. And then immediately after, right, Deckard goes and he starts investigating Leon. So Leon was the replicant that blasted the Blade Runner at the beginning. He's investigating his home. And while this is going on, which he finds a bunch of pictures and things in there. While this is going on, we're introduced to our big bad without being told even who he is, but we can assume um outside the home, this guy walks up to Leon and he's like, "Did you get your beloved pictures?" And Leon's like, "No, people were in my house." And they're like, "All right, well, they're on our trail," basically.
Yeah, and we were cued in that this Roy character was the leader from Gaff.
Yeah, they had all the pictures, right? They had the pictures of each android that was still alive with their
Yeah,
name.
and so
Yeah.
like the thing that's interesting about it is that he comes in so sinisterly,
Mm-hmm.
and that immediately notifies us, the audience, that this is probably not a good guy. That him being on Earth is probably not a good thing. He
Right.
probably is pissed off about something. We've learned by now also that these replicants have 4 years to live.
Right.
That's in fact how they stop them from being too human.
Mm-hmm.
Is they give them a 4 year lifespan, which just shuts off their cognitive ability, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, timelines. That's, you're all about
Yeah,
timelines, and it
I
gave it
am all
to
about
us.
timelines. I love time.
Yeah.
Time.
Yep.
The
So they
Twilight
find
Zone, man. It's that Twilight Zone in me.
so they go to like a facility where the guy is making eyeballs for the replicants, right? And they find out through talking to
Cool
him,
ass place.
oh, so cool. So just
Yeah,
it's
cool ass place.
frozen environment, it was so cool. And they figure out through talking to him that Roy wants to meet with Tyrell for some reason. We don't really know the reason yet, I don't think, unless I missed it. But they find out through interrogating this guy that they need to find someone named J.F. Sebastian to get there.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so
And
meanwhile, oh yeah,
let's just
sorry,
go
go ahead.
back. Why is it so important that he's working at the eyeball factory?
I don't know, you tell me.
Because the eyes are what gives it away. The eyes are how
Oh,
they're
sure.
able to tell if somebody's a replicant, because a lot of these questions have to deal with emotionality, and our emotions can be seen through the dilations in our pupils.
Right.
And once they ask enough questions where the eyes don't dilate where they feel like they should dilate, well, that's whenever you know that they're talking about a replicant. For instance, Rachel, the question about that they get Rachel on, what was if she had to eat a dog or something?
Yeah, it's boiled dog meat. Like, what would you do if you were
Yeah,
serving
there was
boiled
no
dog meat?
dilation in her eyes from that, and that's how he figured that she's a replicant.
Yep.
So very connected, really cool.
Yeah. And then so Deckard heads back to his apartment and he's in the elevator going up and he pulls his gun because someone's in the elevator with him and it's Rachel. Rachel's sitting there and Tyrell had told us she's slowly figuring out that she's a replicant, I think.
That's got to
And
be terrifying.
oh my gosh.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine, dude? That, oh God, that's so terrifying.
Yeah, it's
This
like the
movie
it's
is
like
so
the android
existential.
it's like the android from Romulus, right? Like that's a big part of his thing is accepting his place in society and stuff like that. Like it's captivating. Ridley knows what he's doing.
Well, it is and it isn't also because, like, he knows he's an android. He's
Right.
accepting his place in society. Not only is she having to understand her place in society, but she's also starting to understand that everything she knows is a lie.
Yeah. And it's a
Awful.
beautiful moment between her and Deckard where she's trying to explain to him, "Hey, I have all these memories. I remember my mother." And Deckard's like, "No." He like rattles off all these things she should know. He's like, "That's just Tyrell's niece.
Oh my
These are
God, dude, that was so
implanted in you."
crazy. That was
Yeah.
so crazy. And then because he sees how much she's freaking out, he kind of backs off.
Yeah, he's like, "Bad joke. Sorry. Bad joke."
It didn't happen, but that's the thing, dude. That's the thing about genies. You can't put him back in the bottle.
Yeah. Yep, it's out now. Yeah.
You already said it, dude. And once a thing has been said, it can't be unsaid.
Yep. Yep. So yeah,
Crazy.
it was beautiful. And then so we get another jump cut and we meet our girl Pris, who we hadn't met her until that point, and like it's not retroactive now because I wrote the note when I did it, but I was like, she is definitely one of the androids, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
She's a replicant, um, and she stumbles across JF. So
Yeah.
that led me to the question of was she purposely trying to find him or did she just stumble across him? I don't know. Because it makes you think, and like Wikipedia, when I was looking at that earlier, said that she purposely found him and like got into his home to, get there for the rest of the crew. But I don't know if that's the case. Um,
Um See, like what I'm wondering is there embedded code into these into these replicants that gravitate them toward Blade Runners?
mm, maybe.
You know?
Or is there some,
Because
yeah, potentially.
right, is there something that makes them gravitate towards them? Is there something that makes them feel the need to go into a certain area because they're in that certain area?
Yeah.
Because we're not really given. Are we given what city this is?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, but it's a city.
Yeah. Well,
That's like a big area. And for them to
It
just
says
kind
Los
of,
Angeles and what I'm
okay,
looking
that's what
at,
I thought.
but
That's what I
yeah.
thought. That's what I thought. Okay, LA is fucking huge.
Right.
Okay. People who have never been to LA don't understand how big LA is. LA is technically 6 counties.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
Um,
basically New Jersey. Like it's New
yeah.
Jersey as a
Yeah,
city.
yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
like for real though. Like its population is insane, right? And you would also have to think that maybe it's even grown since my hypothesized World War III,
If they had to
being that
like
it's, yeah,
yeah.
right,
Right.
right. And so having this huge city and having all these people just like kind of randomly, quote unquote, randomly, uh, run into the one guy who's hunting them. There's this thing in screenwriting where you should really only allow yourself 1 to 2 big coincidences in a movie.
Sure.
But this movie feels like there's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And the only reason that I can think about for that reason is that they're programmed to find him.
Sure. And they could be, right? Because we see a little bit with one of the other replicants that like she's got markings on her showing like who created her or something, right? Like the numbers. Or no,
Yeah, that seems to
that's
be
on the
the
skin, yeah.
only way that you can 100% definitively tell if the person you're talking to is a replicant.
Yeah.
What I'm fascinated by, and I'm hoping that they do something with this in 2049, uh, is I'm hoping that they like talk to like a sociopath.
Mm,
Somebody who doesn't show emotions anyways.
yeah.
And what happens then?
Well, and that leads to the question Rachel asked Deckard, right? Where she's like, have you ever retired a human on accident? Like,
And
retired a
he's
human
like,
by
no, dude,
mistake.
I would never do that.
Yeah.
I'm too good. I'm too slick.
Yeah. But that's a great question that could lead into like maybe that happens in 2049. Like it could very easily happen.
Yeah,
Um
I'm really, like I said, I'm really excited about 2049 now.
Yeah. So JF invites Pris back to his place, and I loved. They're not really characters, but if I'm gonna go off my usual Forest Film Club favorite small actors that make a scene, his little toys that come up and are talking to him, I love
Oh
them
my
so
god,
much.
dude, what the fuck? Felt like Toy Man.
Yeah, so cute and yet so terrifying, right? And they lead to a
Horrible.
horror aspect later. Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah, it's like Andy's bedroom in Toy Story. Just these things thrown together to walk around and act.
Yeah, you're
Um,
so right about that.
so immediately after all the stuff happens with JF, we get one of the big reasons I think that Deckard is an android. We're shown a dream he has of a unicorn. That we don't
Let's
really
not
know what
forget
that's
that's exactly the origami figure that Gaff keeps folding up for him.
correct. Yeah. Yeah, which makes me, I mean, we can get into it now, it's fine. Spoilers for the end of the movie, right? That's the origami figure he finds at the very end is a unicorn. To me, that's saying that Harrison Ford's dreams and memories are implanted into him because no one else knows he has that unicorn dream, at least that we know of. So that's Gaff's way of showing that that he's a replicant to me.
Sure. Um, I first of all, the main reason why I think he's not an android is he's too weak.
Okay.
All the androids that we see in this movie are tough as nails, right? And
Badass, yeah.
Deckard is constantly getting fucked up by them.
But we're also seeing the next iteration of them. Like they're the Nexus 6. He is not, if he's a
Yeah,
replicant.
that's a fair that's a fair argument. That's a fair argument right there. Um, the thing about Deckard's unicornness, right, is I think that it's more of I think we're not seeing the full scope of their relationship.
Him and Gaff.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think the unicorn represents something deeper to them than like memory or whatever. So okay. Here's what it is. Okay. Unicorns are a mythological creature that has been searched from the beginning of time, right? They don't exist. Everybody
Hmm.
knows that they don't exist, right? It essentially that's what Harrison Ford's Deckard is after.
Right.
These replicants that he's after are unicorns. They're
Sure.
creatures that should not exist, and finding one should be impossible.
Hmm.
I think
Let alone
that
four.
the right, and now you have to find four of them.
Yeah.
How does Rod Serling put it? A needle in the proverbial haystack. you know, I think it's more about him knowing that the impossible task that he has to do. He got away from doing the impossible task, but now he's bringing it back. And I think that unicorn is meant to represent that impossibility.
Sure. And it
You
could, I
know?
mean, it could be very, very thematic. It could be both. But I like your hypothesis of that Gaff and Deckard have a longer relationship because this could be a dream Deckard has every night. And if they were partners at one point, he would have told him about it, right? He would have
Right.
said, he would have talked about his dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I just think that they're I think once again, just like how the world got into the situation that it's in now, I think it's very similar. I think we are not. This is a movie. This is so cool. This is a sequel to a movie that doesn't exist.
yeah,
If you think about it, right? This is a sequel to a move to a whole series of movies that never happened because we are meant to just know that Deckard is this damn good at his job.
right.
You know, I love it. I'm having a great time watching it. I'm so fucking fully invested. Um, and then we get to this weird ass photography scene, and I'm even more fucking fascinated by it.
The science, right? The technology with this is so cool because it's like a VHS, like a VCR that he just puts a picture into and he's able to enhance different things about it. Um, and it's a picture he had found in Leon's room. And you know, at the base of it, it just kind of looks like a picture of the room, but then when he starts zooming in, we see there's other people in that room. That can lead us to, all right, these are two of the other replicants.
Yeah, the way that he does it, right? Because it's almost like that this movie like predicted the live photos that we take on like our iPhones
Yeah,
because the photos move a little,
right.
and the way that he's just tells the computer to enhance 15 by 32, whatever that means.
Yeah, it's like oh, I can't even think of the word. But you know, it's almost like a what is the word I'm looking for? Like lattice, right? Like there's little
Yeah.
boxes everywhere that he's like, all right,
Yeah.
16 to 42, enhance that, you know.
Yeah. And then it reminded me of a of a painting. Uh God dang. I forget what painting it is, but it's supposed to be a painting of like a man and a woman, but there's a mirror behind them, and there's like an entire another painting in that mirror
Oh, okay.
that like you really can't see unless if you bring out a magnifying glass. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So that's like what it reminded me. It reminded me of like a hidden painting, and using this, he finds out because let's not forget that whenever he was investigating Leon's room, he found some synthetic snake skin,
Right.
which is also telling us that they're making animals.
Yeah. Which we knew
You know?
from when they went to the Tyrell Corporation because the owl was synthetic as well. Um,
Yeah.
So, yeah, super cool. So yeah, those, you know, those clues lead him to go talk to someone that has like can read certain code, and this is what we were talking about with a piece of like the manufacturer's print on it shows who the snake manufacturer is. So he goes talks to him and he finds out who buys all of these snakes and he goes to a club and immediately meets someone that's a snake charmer and
Yes.
she's in so much makeup and stuff that you can't really tell who she is, but he was able to see in the picture that the replicant had a tattoo on her face that was pretty visible.
Yeah.
So yeah, he finds this girl, I think her name's Salome. Um and this is our first big instance of, you know, Deckard getting his ass kicked because he's talking to her and she asks him to dry her off and immediately beats the shit out of him and starts running away.
Sure.
So yeah, he chases her down. It's a very cool chase scene, right? Because she's very gone and he still keeps looking around. Like you talked about, it's LA, so there's so many people, and then he sees her and just immediately plugs her, dude. Does what Blade Runners do, and because
Right in public.
yeah, right in front of everyone. Just two shots in the back takes her out.
Yeah. Now, do
And
you
then
think that that's like part of the reason why they needed him for the job because they know he'll shoot in a crowded room?
pro- probably, yeah, probably. No,
Decker doesn't care about civilian casualties.
yeah, no holds barred. Get out of my way. I'm shooting.
Yeah.
And then when he walks up on her dead body, that's the first time we very visibly see it was the tattoo, and we're clued into who it was.
Yep.
And then so Gaff shows up and he's like, "All right, good work. One down. You've got four to go."
And
Um,
interesting how he shows up right away,
yeah,
right? He's clearly keeping tabs on him, or he knows where he's at instinctively because he's a replicant,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's almost like they're tracking him. He's like the spiritual guardian that keeps popping up.
Yeah, for sure.
And then so yeah, they say there's four left, and he's like, "No, no, no, I have three." And they said, "Well, Rachel escaped, so now you have to take her out too." So now there's still four. And we've already seen that he's kind of building a connection with her, so we know that that's going to be hard for him to do, I think. And then we see Rachel, right? She's in the crowd. And he sees her and goes to get to her and can't because homeboy Leon shows up and starts kicking his ass right in the middle
Oh
of the
yeah.
right on the sidewalk. And he's about to kill him, and then we hear a gunshot, and Rachel actually killed Leon, shot him right in the head. So we've got two down, and Deckard didn't have to kill them both. So that was exciting. And then I don't know how you feel about this scene, the next one where Rachel and Deckard go back to the apartment. This scene felt a little trigger word, little rapey to me.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
It it I don't know if I would use that word, but it it felt it felt real.
Yeah.
It's what I think is going on is Deckard, one, he doesn't want to kill this being.
Yeah.
Right? We can't call it a person, but we know that it's a replicant, and we know that Deckard is at least beginning to think that maybe these replicants have more sentience than what he thinks.
Hmm.
Right? And it happens directly after he kills those other ones.
Right.
Right? And now so what's going on is I think he's feeling emotions for killing these replicants that he's never felt before.
Sure.
And so if he's feeling these emotions, this sorrow, well, then maybe he can feel the opposite of that as well.
Yeah.
You know? And can it be rapey if that's not a human?
So here's my counter to that. It's actually a conversation you and I had in an earlier podcast. This felt very similar to Rocky and Janet in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, dude, I agree.
Like the idea that, I mean, can it? I mean, if she doesn't know what she's doing, it's kind of rapey to me.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah. It's just I get why they did it, right? It's just I don't
Yeah.
know. If I had one scene to complain about, it's probably this one.
But
Um,
also, this just goes back to the idea that Deckard's not a hero.
right. Right. Which
You
is
know, if
important.
anything, if anything, we should be understanding him to be the villain right now.
Sure.
We are learning through Rachel that these are beings with a lot of behind the eyes, with a lot of thoughts, with a lot of feelings. These are not sure they're built as robots, but they're not robots, dude. They have thought and purpose and heart.
Yeah.
And Deckard's going around killing them.
Yeah. It's like the Will Smith iRobot thing, right? Like sees them a
Yeah.
certain way and then it grows on him. Like, yeah. Um, But so then we go back to JF's apartment, and now it's evident that Pris is an android, right? Like she's walking around. I'm convinced she's gonna kill him, but she doesn't, and then it clues you in. Oh yeah, like they still need him. And then Roy shows up, and again, I was like, okay, maybe Roy's gonna kill JF, but no, they just start interacting with him. Um,
Yeah.
and Roy convinces so JF has this thing which is so funny to me. So I was trying to figure out where that actor's from because I recognize him. He's in the Deadwood TV series. He's like a doctor in that or something.
Oh, I really want to watch Deadwood.
Yeah, it's great. I really
I
like it.
feel like it's right up my alley.
I don't remember liking the movie, but the TV show's great.
Sure.
Um So, you know, JF talks about how he's got this degenerative disease because he's only 25 years old, and the actor's probably in his 40s, if not older.
Yeah.
Um, and so, that clues us in that he can be sympathetic to them with their only 4-year lifespan. He can be sympathetic to the fact of aging very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And Roy
Loved
could,
that.
yeah, it's great.
Loved
It's
that.
Yeah, it's so small, but it shows you exactly who he is and what he could do.
Yeah.
And Roy convinces him to take him to see Dr. Tyrell. And so we know through these conversations that they're coming up to the end of their lifespan, and that Roy is pretty concerned about Pris dying. So they want to go see Tyrell to figure out a way to add years to their life. Which what you were just talking about clues into the fact of like, hey, these replicants are not the villains, right? They're just trying to live. They're
Dude,
not
this is
trying.
whenever it solidified it to me. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Like I should have been rooting for these guys the whole time.
Well, and to me, it answered a question that I had since the beginning. Why, if they knew they were illegal on Earth, why would they come back?
Right.
Like, what is the point?
Immediately tells you
Yeah,
what's happening.
right. That
You
they have
know?
to. Yep.
There's only six of them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. Dude, this is the problem with it all. They go to Tyrell. Tyrell tells them that it's impossible. Is it? Who knows?
Right.
But they take that as fact and they kill him.
Yeah.
Very gruesome. Very
Crush
awesome.
crushes his skull, dude.
But uh the thing is if you do this once, you can do it over and over again.
Right.
The thing that Tyrell really wants to avoid, I don't think he's telling the truth. He could do it. I'm positive he could extend their lives.
Sure.
But then every replicant is going to want that to be done.
Yep.
And you can't have that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
off with your head, I guess.
He tries to give them some kind of thing like, oh, diseases and mutations and things like that would happen if we tried. Because, the cool thing about Roy is he's offering solutions. He's like, well, did you try this? Did you try that? All these different things.
Yeah.
And Tyro's just like, yeah, we've tried it. It doesn't work. um, so yeah, super cool. It felt one thing I loved was the prodigal son line, right? Like Tyrell calls him the prodigal son, and if anyone knows what a prodigal son is, right, it's the son that returns. Um, and so I thought that was very cool. It felt a little bit like reverse Frankenstein's monster, like you've created your monster and it comes back and kills the creator. And then we don't see Sebastian die.
Okay, but then okay. But what people forget about Frankenstein is that Frankenstein should have fucking died.
Right.
Frankenstein's monster, i.e., Adam, he names himself Adam, for those of you who
Hmm.
don't know. Frankenstein's monster's name is Adam, is the good guy.
Right.
All he wants is somebody that's like him,
Hmm.
right? He runs away, he finds a family, and the family's little girl enjoys his company, but he gets ran away because he's a freak, right? Then he runs into a cabin where he meets a blind man who teaches him how to read, write, and talk. Right, and the blind man can't be afraid of him because he's blind, but he ends up
Right.
being found there too, so he gets chased away. And then what does he do? Well, he finds Frankenstein and he tries to get Frankenstein to build him a wife because he just wants one person. to have a conversation with that won't see him as a fucking monster.
Yep.
Frankenstein's monster, Adam, is the good guy.
Right.
You know, it's much more apt comparison than I think what people realize because Roy is Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
All he wants is life. How can we be mad at that? How can we deteriorate that?
Hmm.
God, dude, this movie was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved it. So we then go to Deckard, and over the like police radio, they say the body found with Tyrell is JF Sebastian. So we're told then that okay, Sebastian is also dead. Um, then it's just to me another Star Wars reference is these little dudes go up and just like kind of mess with Deckard's car. They were the
Houdini,
Ewok.
Houdini, what
They
are
were the,
that?
yeah,
Little Jawas.
they were the Ewoks or the Jawas of the, or yeah, the Jawas, not the Ewoks. Yeah, they were the Jawas of this movie. So yeah, then Deckard heads to JF's apartment, and we see that Pris is still there, and this is when it snaps into horror mode 10,000.
Yeah.
Um, she's posing as a toy as he's walking around. All the other toys are there as well, and then yeah, she hops out and starts kicking Deckard's ass again.
I forget if this was here or earlier, whenever she just like hops on his shoulders.
It's right here. Yeah,
Yeah,
right
dude.
when she grabs
It's
him, yeah.
hilarious to me. Like, really, this is like, it's really good whenever a movie can like instill like some base comedy where there shouldn't be any.
Yeah. And I mean, this is probably a stretch, but she to me was very much Tim Burton's Catwoman, right? With what she did. Like she jumps on his head like that and then she starts flipping backwards like Catwoman did and he puts a bullet in her. Because we found
Yeah.
that Deckard cannot fight, but he's a pretty good shot. So she's flipping back.
That's where all of his cyborg points have been placed in, right?
Yeah, his accuracy. Yep, yep. And so he shoots her. She goes down and starts like convulsing on the floor, and then he shoots her again. Um, and while that's going on, Roy comes back and finds her dead, and he goes full horror movie like werewolf, right? And it's pretty evident to me in that uh Ridley was going for that. He has him howling. He's howling for him as he's pursuing Deckard.
Dude,
It's almost
at
like a
first
wolf
I
looking
was
for his
like, is that
prey.
him? Because that's a really good howl.
Yeah, fantastic. um,
And why does he start doing that?
well, I mean, he's slowly losing his life, right? Like we're seeing that he's like his time's coming up. So I'm thinking it's just him reverting more to an animal-like state, but I'm not really sure.
Boom,
Yeah,
boom, Alex. That was my exact read as well. Is that this is the most like an actual organism that he's probably ever felt.
yeah,
You know, at first Deckard's shot looks like it misses him, but then we get the shot back to him that it actually did graze his the side of his head a little bit.
yeah. Got his ear.
And
Yeah.
and now with that, yeah, I too believe that he's feeling more animalistic than he's probably ever felt.
Sure. When you got to think about them too, if they only live for 4 years, like, yeah, they look like humans, but they're teenagers at best right now, right? Like they're a little less developed, like mentally, like,
There's did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
yeah,
Okay, did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged?
no,
Okay, first of all, put Dragon Ball Z Abridged at the very top of your list of things to do. It's all on YouTube. You can find compilation videos. I think the whole thing runs about 10, maybe 11 hours.
okay.
But they go through the Cell Saga.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Start at Sand Saga, go all the way through the Cell Saga. It's fucking hilarious. But at one point, Cell keeps on talking about like having sex with Gohan and like like it's all innuendo. Right?
Yeah.
It's all innuendo. He doesn't flat out say it,
Most of
but
that
it's all
show
innuendo.
is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And at one point, One character is like that's a 12-year-old, and Cell says, "I'm 6." That's how I feel in this situation. Like, here's this old ass man, and he's like, "I'm 3."
I love it. But
uh,
yeah, I mean, this final battle rips,
beats
right?
that
Like,
ass.
yeah, yeah.
And you know by this point I'm full Team Roy.
Oh, sure. I've been Team Roy for a little while now, but especially right now.
Dude, Rutger Hauer is so good in this.
He's great. Absolutely great. I mean, he's got the look, right? Like, I believe he was cast because of the blonde. Like, they refer to him as very Aryan, right? Like the perfect human or whatever is what they talk about in the cast.
Which
And
is very intentional,
yeah,
right? Aryan. Let's not forget that the Aryan race is what Hitler was leading to take over the world in World War II. Who did Hitler team up with? The Japanese. Uh, so kind of like solidifies this idea of a World War III happening where Japan came out on top. And of course, this Tyrell situation, corporation wants to put out Aryans as the best replicants.
yeah,
Really interesting.
yeah. And it's interesting too that Roy is the last man standing, right? Because he feels like he's the most perfect creation they had.
And for what we see, he is.
Yep. Yep. So then, they have their final battle for a while, and then Deckard's about to die again. He's hanging off the edge, he's about to fall, and Roy saves him.
Yeah.
Like Roy grabs him and pulls him up, which I thought that was powerful.
This is the moment that Deckard sees them as human.
Yep.
This is the exact moment where Deckard sees them as more than replicants.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's an incredible moment in movie history. It feels so earned. It feels so real. And then the moment after, yeah, this is just one of the greatest film speeches I think I've ever heard.
Which who was the actor that played Roy?
Rutger Hauer.
He wrote this. He actually wrote
Oh,
this
get
speech and
out, dude.
he gave it to Ridley. Yeah.
Get out, dude. Get out. Incredible. Incredible.
Yep. Um,
Uh, the final lines, all those moments will be lost in time like tears in rain. And
and it's raining.
they're both crying.
Yeah.
You can see that they're both crying.
Yep.
It's just so magnanimous. It's so powerful.
And I'm very glad too Ridley didn't have someone come up and kill him then, right? That we just see Roy expire.
It would be awesome if some like nameless dude came up and just like shanked him in the kidney though. Like Joker 2. Harrison Ford walks away and you just see a guy go up and stab him a bunch.
Yeah. So the thought I had was going to be that he doesn't die right away, right? And like Deckard refuses to kill him and Gaff comes up and kills him. Is where I thought it was going. But I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't. It was more powerful just to see him there and expired.
But it gives you a whole new perspective of why he did it at the time he did.
Right.
His clock was running out. It seems like these androids that know that they're androids, like do know, like that
Yeah.
their expiration date's coming. That's really scary in a
Yeah.
way, right?
Well, and he does that throughout the scene, right? Because he sees his hands start to stop working. He's like, no, no, not right now. Not right now. Like I can't have that happen now. Um, yeah, super, super cool. Um, and then so he goes home and Rachel is still there, and we're led to believe Rachel may have also expired, right? Because she's under the blanket. He's calling for her. She doesn't
This was a
answer.
great reveal.
Yeah.
Because I was so dejected that Roy died, and then I was like, "Oh, god damn it, dude! Her too,
Yeah.
her too."
Yeah.
But no, she's alive. I love their final conversation with Gaff.
Yeah.
Where he's like, yeah, she'll die eventually. She's not gonna live forever. But then again, who does? I
Yep.
loved that. I was like, that is the perfect send off line for this movie.
Yep. And that's
You
right when
know?
it was something Gaff had said to him before he went home, and then he remembered it when he picked up the unicorn right before they
Yeah.
got in the elevator.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, there's
so
that final unicorn.
yep.
And once again, Gaff just seems to be monitoring Deckard at every given point.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that the unicorn with this final, if I'm going with my uh Deckard is human, which I still believe so, that is Gaff's way of being like, I approve of you going off. I approve
Right.
of your choices and decisions.
Well, and the fact that the unicorn's there, Gaff could have killed her if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So I am
Yes.
hoping, because I'm still on camp that that Deckard's a replicant. I'm hoping we get an answer to that in 2049.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
kind of
as you
hoping we
said,
do.
you know, Ridley Scott believes he's a replicant.
Yeah. Yeah, Ridley has
Uh,
openly said that the correct
Harrison
reading.
Ford believes that he's human.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes. So remember I talked about earlier briefly about how they didn't get along. That's one of the reasons why they didn't get along, because he Harrison believes that he's human and
Huh.
played him like a human.
It's interesting that they still went with him because someone who was very much in the running, I believe it was Dustin Hoffman, had done like hours and hours of reading for it, and because him and Ridley weren't aligned, he backed out of the project.
Interesting.
So,
So
yeah,
it seems maybe that like it may have been Ridley's intent for him to be a replicant, but the script itself lends to him being a human.
sure.
You know, the which is good because that's what a replicant would think.
Right. Right. Harrison Ford's just super in character, you know?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping we get an answer in 2049 just so we can settle this debate between you and I who's right. But
You want to put $5 on it?
absolutely.
All right, $5. You heard it here. All right, Team
Uh,
Human, let's go. We
but yeah.
we must make a pact that if it is given out in the movie, we cannot discuss it until we're back on here.
Oh, correct. Yeah. I mean, we
Right?
didn't discuss this at all. Like, I very badly wanted to text
I
you about
really
this
wanted
movie.
to text you about
Yeah.
it.
But I was like, out of respect for the podcast, I'm not going to do. I had a friend that came here and watched a movie with me, and he went to say something. He's like, you know what? I'm saving it for the pod. And I never in my life would think I'd say something like that. I was like, yeah, dude, save it for the pod.
Absolutely. And the thing about it all is that like I've heard from multiple, it's so crazy because 2049 seems like such a weird uh like received movie, because it's like half the people that I've talked to about it say that it's better than Blade Runner, and then the other half are like it's a piece of human garbage.
I've
Like,
I've heard both too. Yeah, I've heard both.
so I'm really excited to see where I land on it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's our boy Denny, right? So I'm assuming I'm gonna like it, but we'll see.
Oh, I'm listen. Is our boy Denny? Batista's in it.
In this world, right?
In this world, like
Yeah,
actually in it. For
yeah.
those of you who are wondering why that's a big deal, go over to the Forced Film Club where we won't stop talking about Batista for some fucking reason.
Because he
I
rips.
legitimately don't know how that started.
I have no idea. I don't even know. Even re-listening to you guys' old episodes, I can't pinpoint when it started.
It's just always been there.
Yeah.
Us talking about Batista. Yeah,
it's like Barbara Streisand with South Park. We're just in this never-ending love battle with Batista.
yeah, right. And he has no idea we exist.
Not yet.
Not yet. Um, is there anything that you are hoping besides, the answer of Deckard being a replicant? Is there any like other big things that you're hoping that Blade Runner 49 might include that this movie didn't include?
I'm just super interested in when it's taking place, right? Because it's 30 years after this. So I'm interested to know how we're still in this replicant world. Like, are they still being made? Are we getting a new iteration, new evolution of them? I don't know. I'm just super interested in the fact that it exists and how Deckard is still part of it because it kind of goes against my idea of him being a replicant that it's 30 years later and he's still alive.
Yeah, that alone is like the proof to me that I'm correct here. But
Yeah.
we'll find out.
But I mean, maybe Rachel's still alive too. I don't know.
We don't know. That's what's so scary about it,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, I think my biggest thing here is who takes over the Tyrell Corporation.
Sure.
Is what changes has happened in the last 30 years inside the corporation itself since
Yeah.
it's
My
since
assumption is it's more of a government project now instead of a private corporation. But
dude, could you imagine, dude? Like the creator of the corporation got killed by one of his creations. That's amazing.
right.
Add that to one of my favorite Wikipedia pages. Have I told you my three favorite Wikipedia pages?
I think so, but remind me.
My three favorite Wikipedia pages are list of sexually active popes.
Yep, I remember that one. How could you forget?
How can you forget? List of inventors killed by their own inventions. And what is it? Gardner's list of evening girls. Basically, it was a catalog of prostitutes in London from like the 1800s.
Okay. Well, there you go,
That's
folks.
a real thing, dude.
Until our 2049 episode, go check out those Wikipedia pages.
Oh my god, especially list of sexually active popes. Like that is just so good. That's so good. Yeah.
Sounds like a good
Really
sequel
enjoyed
to
this. I'm so
Conclave.
happy I finally caught it. Um, I know that Amazon is planning a Blade Runner TV show.
Oh, okay. I know an animated one came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For Adult Swim.
I think so.
Um, and then there's a couple of anime short films too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I might Black Lotus. That's the show for Adult Swim.
Okay.
13 episodes, probably a half hour piece. I might breeze through that because
I've
I think
been
it takes
I've
place
been looking for a
before.
new. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it takes place before 49. So I think I might
Okay.
watch it in preparation, then watch 49.
Yeah, I think my plan is I'm gonna play through Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, have you played it before?
I played it when it first came out, and then all the bugs and stuff, I did the refund, and then when it went really cheap, I bought it again, and apparently it's much better now. So
Yeah, I've only played the current one. Um, loved it.
nice.
Loved it. Yeah. Yeah. I would probably play that too uh if if I had my Xbox. 'Cause I bought it for my Xbox, but my giving it to my brother.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Apparently
Mm.
there's a comic adaptation of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Well, now we know what you're doing. Forget the animated show.
No shit, dude, but apparently it looks like it's like out of stock everywhere. I wonder if I can get it on my Kindle.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, let's hope. Or if not, I'll just. I mean, I would never do it illegally anyway. So I believe in paying for my media.
Because we want them to make more.
Yes, absolutely.
But cool, man. That's Blade Runner. So we're no longer cowards over here. We do rate our movies now. So
Oh
real,
God,
on,
no way!
on our real friends 10-point scale, where do you have this?
10-point scale. Well, I do appreciate the 10-point scale. I will just throw that out there. Do appreciate a 10-point scale. Real I can't believe you guys started doing that. That's great. I love
Yep.
that for you. I am really high on this movie right now. I thought that there's like very few minor things that I would improve of it, other things that I would want out of it. Um, but I mean the aesthetic of it, the creation of it, everybody's performing really well. The dialogue is so crisp and so real. You know, this is like a let's see. Well, the 11 scale is a 10 scale, just if you want to give one more point for perfection,
Right.
right? So it is still a 10 pointer. Um, I'm feeling a 9 on this.
Yep. That's where I'm at too. I'm at a
Yeah,
very strong 9
like a really solid 9.
that I think could go up with either watching 2049 or rewatching this movie. I think it could potentially get to that 10.
That's exactly what I'm thinking as well. Yeah, it's that damn good, dude.
Yep.
It's that damn good.
And in a year with
Yeah.
so many good science fiction movies, it's probably my second favorite. I still think I have The Thing at number one.
Oh,
But this
there.
is,
First of all, The Thing is the greatest movie maybe ever made.
I'm with you.
It's it's unfair to compare anything to The Thing.
Right. But
It
this
really
is,
is. If you're listening out there and haven't seen The Thing, I mean, literally put on The Thing as soon as this is over. It's the greatest movie ever made.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I agree. Better than Tron. Better
uh,
than Tron. Better than Conan, I would say. I haven't seen E.T. in a long time, but who knows? Maybe better than E.T. also.
maybe I do need to revisit that. It's been a very, very long. I think I watched it when I was a kid, and that's it. I had the VHS.
Yeah, same. That feels like a movie that I just haven't watched for no good reason.
Right.
For no good reason.
But cool, man.
God
I
dang,
mean,
dude, this comic book is going for $200.
oh my lord.
The
Well, maybe
lowest used copy of it I can find right now is 165.
maybe you can talk to Zach. Maybe his mom has a copy of that. You can buy for $20.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Uh,
cool, man.
Blade Runner, great pairing with Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Can't wait to talk about 49 with you next week.
Yeah, and if we haven't talked about it enough, go over to the Forest Film Club and watch our reviews of Twin Peaks. And if you haven't seen Twin Peaks, please watch it. For the love
Yeah,
of God, it's
for the love of Christ.
quickly becoming my favorite TV show I've ever watched. So,
That's
um,
yeah. Yeah,
so,
I have no arguments about that. It's incredible.
but that's been Blade Runner. Over there is our lovely chocolate bear Mundo. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Okay. I
Yep.
hope that you have a great day, my friend.
You
Thank you
too.
for having me on. And if you don't know, you should know. Go over to the Forest Film Club. Alex is over there as well. We team up with the Vanilla Bear. We're talking Twin Peaks watch right now, which we'll be picking up probably next week, right, Alex?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So I will talk to you then.
All right. This has been the Real Friends podcast, and we'll see you next time.